Good. Good rest, good reset, feeling really good. Mentally refreshed now, so for the final stretch, I feel great.
What can that time off do for a team with a home stretch coming up like this?
I think it allows you to reset and get away from the game, do some other things, be a normal person for a little bit, go to Target. I was at Target a lot, grocery shopping a lot, just feeling like, my normal self, doing normal things. And I think it allows you to get away for a week, and now you don't have that mental fatigue, mental fog. I feel refreshed. It feels like first day of camp, first day OTAs, and we got guaranteed 7 games left. Hopefully, we can make a push for the playoffs. And but yeah, I feel great. I feel really good.
Do you watch any of the games on Sunday? Do you pay attention to 49ers Seahawks?
I didn't watch the game, but I definitely follow the games on my phone, the scores and whatnot. I did watch the entire Chargers-Bengals game last night, which was a great game, exciting game. But I keep up with everything for sure. See how guys are performing, what stat lines look like, because I'm also a fan of the game. A fan of players. Love to see what guys what they do week to week to week. So it's good. But I didn't spend my whole day watching the game. I was like, I'm taking this whole week to reset, get away from the game, and then when about 5 o'clock hit, started going over my playbook, watching a little tape, starting getting ready for the Seahawks. But, try to get away from the game.
How does it feel, just as a team and yourself? I know it's only your second season, but
Yeah.
playing meaningful games in November as you're going forward down the stretch?
It feels great. It's a breath of fresh air. That's a great question. For me, this is my first time since 2018 playing meaningful games in November. So I keep saying breath of fresh air, but it's exciting ball because when I was in college, 3-9, I would dream of playing on a team that's winning and has the opportunity to win a championship, win playoff games, and just playing really good football. So it's exciting for me. I haven't had this experience in 6 years. So I could not be more enthusiastic, excited, and just really grateful for the position that I am in, but also our team is in right now.
How do you not let yourself get, caught up in that?
Repeat the question.
How do you not let yourself get caught up in that? Obviously, there's a lot of excitement, but is it just simply that next game mentality?
For sure, that's a good question. I think it just comes back to, it's cliche, but then how being present in today. Like my process in college or last year doesn't look any different than this year. It's pretty much the same. The day-to-day operation is the same. The mentality of trying to win the day, win the hour, win the minute is exactly the same regardless of what the result looks like. And sometimes when you do things consistently and do things the right way, you'll look up and you'll find yourself in a position that you like. And there's other times in life where you do everything the right way and sometimes it doesn't work out. That doesn't mean you change or let your confidence go down. You just continue to build off that process. And I think we did a great job individually. Guys did a good job this year, and also as a team, we did a good job from the offseason of putting ourselves in a position to be successful, and that's what we've been able to do, through 10 games this year.
Along those lines, then, if you guys have done a good job of the process and you find yourself here, do you think as a team that you guys look at yourself any differently now than you did going into the season? Or because, like you said, sometimes the process works out and sometimes it doesn't. You still got to stick to it. You don't really look at your guys' self any differently. Now that you're in first place.
It's a good question. That's a really good question, actually. I would say no. I really don't look at any player differently. I don't look at our team differently. I don't look at our coaches differently because the results will show. I see guys make. When someone makes a play in a game, it doesn't really surprise me because we see it every single day. I've been seeing, I know what Trey could do from last year. I know what Kyler could do from last year. I know that Garrett Williams is going to have a great year this year because I've seen it every single day, and I see his process. I see James Conner. It's no surprise that in year 9, he's having his best year. That doesn't surprise me at all. It doesn't surprise me that Marvin's having a great year because you see it day to day to day to day to day. So to answer your question, no, I'm not surprised at all. I don't look at our team differently. I don't look at any players differently, whether they have a good game or a bad game, because eventually the cream rises to the top and the picture will start to unfold and reveal itself through X amount of time. I don't know what that timeline looks like, but eventually the cream will rise to the top and So yeah, I don't look at anyone any differently.
Does a fan in you peek at the standings at all and just kind of try to figure out what could happen here or there?
A little bit. I mean, I'd be lying if I said that doesn't creep in my head. I think the best mental frame and mental model is to say I'm not gonna pay attention to that. You can look at it and envision. I think that's what everyone does, but not allowing that to affect your process and your approach is the best way to handle that. And so yeah, I look at it and I see things on Twitter. I have social media. I see stuff on Twitter and projections, percentages, probability of making playoffs. Like, you see all that stuff. I'm not naive. I see all of it. But I don't wake up in the morning thinking, okay, we have a 60% chance or whatever percent chance to make the playoffs. I think, okay, how am I going to get open on third down and how am I going to win against the Seattle DBs? Like, that's where my mindset and my mental frame is. So, but the fan of me does pay attention to that stuff at times, but it doesn't affect how I show up to work.
Did you have to train yourself a little bit starting out, not having that mentality?
Not really. Like I said, this is really my first year of being in the mix of things. So that it's sort of like a new feeling to me. In college, I won 3 games, like pretty much every single year I was there. So there was nothing to look at. It was in November, okay, can we string 3 games? Can we win our last 3 so we can get to a bowl game? That's what I was at. But no, I think that's just the natural wiring of me, and I think of the makeup of guys we have in the locker room. And JG does a great job of not painting that picture for us and thinking about the playoffs. It's just one game at a time, one play at a time, one practice at a time, one meeting at a time type of mindset.
What stands out to you about Seattle's defense, and does the fact that you play them twice in 3 weeks change any aspect of the preparation?
That is a good question too. Yeah, I think it's obviously an important stretch playing a divisional opponent 2 out of 3 weeks. In terms of their defense, haven't really got to watching a lot of them yet. I obviously know their defensive back, so I can speak to them, but a talented group. I know they got a new defensive coordinator, and we are familiar with his play style and how he calls the game because we played against him with the Ravens last year. So they've got a talented DB group with Woolen and Witherspoon and guys that have great traits and play hard. I know their defense plays hard. So like any other game, it's going to be a game where we have to – our mode of play, like JG says, has to show up, and we have to play fast, violent, physical, play as a team. And I think if we do all those things, we'll like our result.
You mentioned not being surprised by a lot of players and what they're doing.
Yeah.
What's your overall view, though? Most of them, I think you did throw Garrett in there.
Yeah.
But just overall, in terms of what do you see with this team developing with complementary between offense, defense, and even special teams?
Yeah, I think I was texting about it with Kyler back and forth, but I love the makeup of our team because it's refreshing when you play with a group of guys that leave their egos at the door. And regardless of who has a big game, it doesn't feel like I played with guys or teams in the past where we could have won by 20 points and this receiver had 100, but this receiver had 5 yards, or this running back only rushed for 20 yards, and it'd be sour after the game. And we don't have any of that on the team. So it's nice to play with a group of guys where the only result that matters, our singular focus is winning the game, regardless of how that looks. And that's all parties involved, offensive coordinator, Kyler, James Conner. It's just refreshing playing with guys who are selfless and just care about winning the game. And I think when you watch us on tape, you see that. You see guys running to the ball 50 yards away from the play, helping guys up. Like, those little things add up and show they're a physical representation of our care for one another and, how much we want to win. Because those little things, like, there's a quote that, and I'm probably paraphrasing, but it said, when you start to look at the little things or the impact of the little things, you realize there are no little things. And that applies to the NFL. And I think our team is playing the game of football the right way.
Do you think that's the difference between college and pros? Is that approach of things?
For sure, it's in the details, yeah. Even only being two years removed from college, you see the details. It's in the details, and I think guys in the league, their mode of play and their attention to detail is just, there's a big uptick from college, yeah.
With how well Kyler's playing, not in the sense of leadership, but physically on the field, whether that's cadence, timing, ball
Yeah.
placement. When he's playing that well, how does that elevate the receivers in your play as a group?
Everything, yeah, everything. I think confidence is contagious, and playmaking is contagious as well. When Kyler's playing like how he has been playing, I think it's so hard to stop our offense, because not only can he make up for a lot of bad play, but he also elevates all of us and throws us balls that maybe other quarterbacks wouldn't throw, or his ball could be covered, but his ball placement is so good it makes it easy to make the catch. But yeah, when he's playing like that, I don't see a quarterback being better than him, because he has every trait, and he can extend the play. He can throw on time. He's got great leadership qualities. He can check out of plays. His understanding of football is top tier. So when he plays, we have a chance to beat anybody when he's playing that well. And I think if he continues to play that well, we have a chance to do what we did last Sunday, which is make it not even a game when he's playing that exceptional.
Michael, obviously first day back after the bye, just what was the energy like out there at practice today?
Yeah, great question. I think touched on it a little bit earlier, but felt a little bit like first day of OTAs, first day of training camp. It was exciting to get back around my teammates and my brothers and just go out there and play football again. Yeah, it was exciting.
And then how do you make sure that you guys don't go backwards and you guys keep, building
Yeah.
up that 4-game win streak?
For sure. That I think goes back to just the general makeup of the team and mental frame of the team, which is take one day at a time and hone in on our process, and day by day, not looking too far ahead, but just get right back on track. And that's what, our OC told us in meetings today, is like, we're not looking ahead, we're living in the here and now, and focusing, our singular focus is how we're going to beat Seattle. And so just attacking meetings, practice, like with that in mind.
Do you think there's any advantage to having a bye week 11 as opposed to 14 like last year, maybe 5 or 6?
Yeah, I think our bye came at a great time, because it almost feels like there's two halves of the season. We got done with our first half, and now we have to finish the back half of the season. And a couple of us were talking last week that we feel like our bye could not have come at a better time. Like, I would not trade it for a week 14 bye, a week 6 bye, like the week 10 bye. I feel like we played pretty much a whole college season or somewhat similar to that, and now we'll finish strong and have, a half season left. So I think, the week 10 bye was perfect.
With this being your second year, how often do you find yourself just still learning stuff about the game and about being a professional in the league?
Yeah, all the time. I definitely have not arrived and have a lot of knowledge to learn. Every single day I find myself finding something new. That's why we watch so much tape and meet all the time, is because you never have all the answers. You might think you do, but something shows up every single day. And I think our job is to try and stay ahead of that curve and at least give ourselves the confidence to feel like we know everything. But every game, something comes up. Every practice, something comes up. So you're constantly learning and evolving and going and growing. And that's why we all love sports and why I love to play, is because like you're always chasing your shadow. You're never gonna reach your full potential, but as long as you continue to put your best foot forward, you'll get closer and closer to that every single day.
Thanks, Michael.
All right, thank you.
Target's tough, man.
I know, right?